Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's Mr. Scott, and I'm joined once again by my dear friend Panda.
Oh, what's up?
What is up is you gotta hear this.
I do.
You gotta
Okay, do
hear it.
tell.
Everybody out there's got to hear this because this is a classic. This is a classic from the weird time in the music industry for us metalheads where the heavy metal scene was pretty much being pushed down back into the underground. And lo and behold, came across this new trend that had been called grunge. It had been called alternative music. It's rock nonetheless. And there were several bands that became very popular in this time frame, bands like Nirvana and so many other groups, the Smashing Pumpkins and so forth. But there was a limited existence of what was really at the time, a supergroup of those types of musicians from the Pacific Northwest. And
Okay.
bands like Soundgarden and
Oh, I know them.
Pearl Jam.
Yeah, yeah.
Members of those two bands came together and created a project called Temple of the Dog. Specifically, a man named Chris Cornell, who was the lead singer of Soundgarden, who has passed away. His friend Andrew Wood was the lead vocalist of several bands in the Pacific Northwest, specifically Mother Love Bone. And Andrew Wood unfortunately passed away of a heroin overdose in 1989 or 90, I believe it was. So Chris wanted to bring some friends together and do a tribute. And that's what he did. And called upon friends in Soundgarden and in Pearl Jam, brought them all together. And they recorded this track, which got a whole lot of play on MTV. It got a lot of play on the radio at that time. And the song is simply called Hunger Strike. I look at it as a grunge duet.
Okay.
Okay? Because you're going to have the vocalization of two major bands of that time frame and that genre coming together in this one. The link to this
There you go. That makes
down
sense.
in the description. Also down there's information about me, and you can also get the information for Panda's YouTube channel called I've Got You Covered. Other episodes of this show are over there as well. So please check that out and show her a lot of love. So, Temple of the Dog, Hunger Strike. Panda, you gotta hear this. Let's go.
Beautiful setting.
I don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence, but I can't feed all the powerless when my cup's already overfilled. Yeah, but it's on the table, the fire's cooking, and the farming babies with slaves are working. The blood is on the table and the mouths are choking, but I'm going hungry.
I am instantly transported back to the 90s when I need one of those choker necklaces. I need the crazy hair. Because that is typical of what we would listen to thinking we were super deep, and we had just so many emotions that everybody had to know. It's one of those. It's a very easy, very light song and a light melody. But when you really listen to the lyrics, it's got some deep stuff in there. And so whether we were actually all that deep, whether we were that emotionally mature, which we weren't, we were getting some stuff from osmosis. I think just hearing the lyrics, and then when we got older, we understood. We're like, oh, I get it now.
So the first voice we heard there was Chris Cornell of Soundgarden. Plenty of other Soundgarden songs that have played on the radio a lot. Black Hole Sun was a big popular one for a long time. And my personal favorite, Outshine. And Rusty Cage, which eventually was covered by Johnny Cash. You may have heard those songs in their way too.
Yes.
So you understood how Chris Cornell's presentation of his voice was. He's a little more smoother with his delivery that you'll find in contrast to what's going to happen next. So that's why I like to call it a using the terminology that they use, the grunge era, the grunge duet, because they have two very distinct different voicings. So we'll back it up a little bit, just get to the tail end of Chris's line there, which leads into the second verse. Let's go here.
I'm going hungry. I don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence. But I can't feed on the powerless when my cup's already overfilled. But it's on the table, the fire's cooking, and the farming babies of the slaves are all working. And it's on the table, the mouths are choking, but I'm going hungry. I'm going hungry. I'm going hungry. I'm going hungry.
Eddie Vedder was, just ridiculously lambasted by so many people because he has that very, delivery in his voice.
Right.
In his voice.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't
But you
matter.
think about it. But you think about it when you go back and you look at once with Chris Cornell and Chris Cornell's voice was something that ended up being the standard that everybody tried to imitate from then on in. That was the sound you heard throughout the 90s of these kinds of songs because everybody wanted to sound like this. It was such a unique take on these kinds of songs and his vocal technique at the time that this is what he was the gold standard pretty much. And this is like I say, it transported me straight back to the 90s because that's what you kept hearing from everybody because these guys did it first.
Yeah. And then we see the full band come in, which has members of those different groups, like I said. Jeff Ament on bass. Big shout out to him, of course. Great performer. Chris Cornell there playing guitar. And I always love the look of Eddie Vedder. He's got the flannel long sleeve with the cut-off leather vest. So on point for the Pacific Northwest at that
Oh
time.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah.
alternative.
Yeah, and so 90s. Please don't do that again. But anyway, continue.
Continue. We're going into the third round of the song now. We'll get to the tail end of the and this part we just heard is really where you get the full experience of the duet because Chris was doing a lot of harmony too when Eddie was doing the main melody, and then we got the back and forth between the "I'm going hungry" lines. Then we get a little bit more rock in here, so we're getting to the tail end of it, but it all crescendos very well.
I'm going hungry.
classic 90s ending. Oh yeah. Now you were saying, earlier, like Eddie got lambasted, like you say, for the this crazy different tone he was putting on his voice. I never quite understood that because, again, from a trained vocalist perspective, what he was doing was actually a very beautiful thing. It was very warm. It was very full. It was very, through his nose. He wasn't doing a lot of straining here, and he wasn't, what he was doing was actually a very beautiful, very smart thing to give him some, cut over all of that other, all of the guitar and all of the other things that were happening. And then you've got Chris Cornell's alternating sound with that high pingy, rock rasp that he had. And so Eddie was providing more of the foundation and the warmth for it, and so I never understood why it was such a bad thing.
No.
Personally.
Yeah, he was mocked for it and all that stuff, but he's still going to this day. He's still performing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we don't have Chris Cornell in the world anymore. No. But there he was, just, that is a time capsule of the 90s sound, just between those two vocalists coming together in that moment together. It just perfectly aligned here. So I'm glad you enjoyed listening to it. What did you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. Make sure you hit up Panda's channel and let her have some love as well. We'd really appreciate it. We'll be back for more episodes of You Gotta Hear This. In the meantime, my friends, keep those horns high.